Here we are. We're back again with my sister Sarah. If you were watching yesterday on a live show, we had a little bit of a hiccup. The internet decided not to cooperate, but here we are. We're back with another live show. My name is Mohammed Faridi. If you don't know, I am the host of this show called Forsaking My Father's Religion. I wrote a book called Forsaking My Father's Religion. It just happened that I have one here, right here. So if this book is a gift from our ministry to you. If you would like to get it, you can go to our website, iranchristians.org, and there's a tab right on the middle page of the ministry's website called Free Book. You click on it, fill the form. I'll be glad to send you one absolutely free of charge as a gift from us to you. And we were talking yesterday with my sister. We're getting closer and closer to the encounter with God and what was going to happen. We went through from teenagehood to even before that, being asking not to wear jeans because maybe a man would go look at you in the school. Don't have boyfriends. You're a Muslim. You're Egyptian. You're an Arab descent and whatever. So we were getting close, sister. Like I was like we were building up to the point, and then bam, the internet decided to quit on us. But internet, you shall work today.
Yes. Internet,
So
praise God, is good. Yes.
so please share with us, get us up to this story again, and then share what God has done for you.
Yes. Sure. Again, go back to like yesterday's channel. Yesterday's stream. Listen to that anyway. Again, raised Muslim to a Egyptian father, American mom, born and raised Muslim, taught the Quran, father very strict. Wasn't allowed to dress certain ways. Then uh, qu- uh basically brother Muhammad just finished did a good synopsis of that. And then as I get older, I end up having these questions now from strict. I have questions, and then during this time I am married to a Muslim Palestinian Jordanian man. So I think that now here is when things end up going. So I end up having
I
question.
I,
Yeah.
I want to hear because
Mm,
even though Islam wasn't completely forced upon you,
yeah.
but you had the desire to
Yeah.
learn about it because
Mhm.
that's you saw your grandmother, for example, reciting the Quran and memorizing it and
Mhm.
praying, and then during Ramadan you asked your dad, can I fast like every other Muslim? So you started practicing Islam, and then of course the dress code, the Sharia of Islam, was being enforced, even though you didn't know where it was coming from.
Yeah.
Correct. The
Yeah.
dad was saying, "Hey, you can't wear jeans, you can't wear this, you can't talk to the boys. We're Muslims, wear this, wear that." And then all of this, I remember that now you were a teenager,
Yeah.
right? And then um, 9/11 happens, correct? And there's so much question. You said no, Islam cannot do this, but this is Islam. And then can you quickly share that part because it's I think it's a very important part of your story.
Oh yes. Islam was my identity. It's who I was. I was proud to be a Muslim person, being born into a Muslim. See, within Muslim culture, it's like, wow, Allah loves us so much that He had us born into Islam. We didn't have to quote unquote revert into it. So that was the mentality that I had. Being told from my father from when I was very young, this is first Judaism, Christianity, and then the seal of the prophets Muhammad, Islam, and the Quran. That's it. Bible's been corrupt, all that other stuff that's been all that other stuff. So when 9/11 happened, I see the second plane hit and I end up questioning. I'm like, I knew that Muslims did it. I don't know how this ended up. It's like something told me Muslims did this. And I felt like the sinking feeling in my stomach as I'm walking home from school that time. And I remember this is something I think has also been etched in my mind that as I smelt it. we had to keep our windows closed for 2 weeks. There was debris on my window, and I lived in Brooklyn, not in Manhattan. So it was bad. So I had that struggle that was going on inside. Again, I can't question anything outside. There was never that safe space where you can question, where I can go ask my father, ask my grandmother, ask somebody what's going on. Watching the news and seeing them in Palestine go and give out candy and dessert celebrating, which in Islam, for those who don't know, those who die quote unquote martyrs, it's like now they're celebrating a wedding in Jannah. So they give out desserts in the streets just like they would when it's an actual wedding actually happening on earth. So this is what was happening. They were viewing those terrorists that hijacked that those planes and killed thousands of people as being martyrs who are now gonna go. They're now in Jannah celebrating with their 72 houris, their virgins. Which and
Same exact situation when it happened in Iran. I was in Tehran, in Iran. Ran to the mosque. We were celebrating, celebrating, and then
Mhm.
giving out cookies and candies
Yeah.
and all that. We said that the light has overcome the darkness. Imagine that.
Mhm.
Islam is finally we took a revenge on the wicked great Satan America. Imagine that's the mentality. And then
Yeah.
that happened in Iran, but you were witnessing it in Brooklyn. It's
Mhm.
amazing. Brooklyn, New York, in
Yeah.
America.
Mhm. Yeah.
This religion, huh?
Yeah. That is a religion, and I went to bed early that night from watching the news, and I remember me being devastated. I'm crying. I'm like, this isn't right. This time, I told nobody I saw what was happening. Didn't express anything to anybody about how I was feeling about during that time. Like, that's trauma. That right there is damage. Imagine you being a child and then seeing what you viewed as your brothers and sisters in Islam celebrating, and not just any brothers and sisters in Islam, Palestinians who we viewed as being people who were being oppressed, were like viewed as actual brothers. Was the mentality, so confusion ends up happening. I and then I would always make sure that I ended up keeping an American flag in my bag. Again, I said the last time I still felt very patriotic. I don't know, I loved American history, and I was like, yeah, and I'm both, because I always said I am both. I am Egyptian and I am an American, because I do like Egyptian culture, ancient Egyptian culture. That's part of my heritage too. So I liked embracing the both. I thought, like, it's cool. It's awesome. Um, I would have arguments with my father. The only time I would actually had the audacity to fight my father and argue with him was on this, because he would tell me, "You're not American. You're only Egyptian," and he would go and tell me, "Only Jews. No Jew died." So if you're on X and you hear, "Oh, no Jews died," this is nothing new. I heard this since I was 12. There was nothing new, and I remember every year I would put on September 11th, I would put on the when they have the memorial, and they would announce the names of everybody who died. So with every Stein and Berg, I would look at my father. That's very Jewish names. And he wouldn't say anything. Um so again,
Yeah, they said the story was like, of course, the propaganda was that the
mhm,
Jews planned this, the Jews owned the buildings. This what they needed renovation, and then this was
remote
insurance.
control.
You are like, what? And then
Yeah.
every Jew that worked there, they called them up. It, you believe this stuff? Yeah, they said they believe it totally.
With all their heart, they
Yeah,
believe it.
and then they came and celebrated. I don't know, like it's so conflicting.
Mhm.
So this 9/11. was some sort of a conflict, a confusing moment of a Muslim American that was born and raised here, growing up in Brooklyn. And did you, in let's say you're in a school, and then now you decided, okay, I'm going to go study this matter, or let me go to the mosque and ask the imam of the mosque what's going on, who tells the truth. Is that a thing?
No. What ended up happening in my head, again, that was discouraged. Questioning Islam is discouraged. So, and then, like I said earlier, there was no open, safe space for you to have questions, for you to understand. You know, this is what Islam is what it teaches, and that's it. So, there's actually two things. Yesterday, I shared about how I saw every morning in front of the mosque, um there was this woman that would stand in front of the bus stop. So I would see her every morning until one morning, because that mosque had, they ended up putting out a stand and did their dawah and to bring people to Islam, you know. And then one day I see her wearing a hijab, and then I was like, oh, that means Islam is a religion of peace, because if Islam was bad, this American woman wouldn't have become a Muslim. Okay. And what didn't make it any better was George W. Bush saying it is George W. Bush fashion how Islam is a religion of peace. So I'm like, the president of the United States is saying that Islam is a religion of peace. It doesn't, okay, so you know what? My fears are my fears. It's gone. I'm not worried about it anymore. Islam is a religion of peace. Yes, I'm 12. Okay.
I have a question. No, seriously, I have a question now. So, um, is English your first language? I want to know if you speak Arabic. This is an important point.
No,
Do
I
you
do speak Arabic. English is my
pra-
first language, but I do speak
praise the
Arabic.
Lord?
Yeah.
So, when you say Islam by itself, that word in Arabic, what does it mean?
Submission.
Submission,
Taslim.
surrender.
Islam,
How?
taslim is submission.
Taslim, exactly.
Yeah.
And then, weren't you thinking like, why this English speaking person says Islam is the religion of Islam means surrender, submit. Islam means taslim.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you correct him? This is your mother tongue, I guess, Arabic, huh? Your father's tongue, actually.
Yeah, my father's tongue. Uh, because how Islam was a, okay, this is actually how Islam is a religion of peace. But then if you don't understand all of Islam altogether, you actually think it's a good thing. So Islam in itself, the religion would bring peace. But the real, so this is what I thought. This is a religion that I was, I, this is gonna sound really, really dumb. But I did not know also at the time that Muhammad married a 6-year old. Okay. Like consummated the marriage. Okay. So how I made sense of it. So I knew he did marry a 6-year old, but I didn't know how he consummated the marriage when she was 9 and all this stuff. So this is how I made sense in my head about how Islam is a religion of peace. Adoption is forbidden, it's haram, right?
Yep.
I didn't know why it was forbidden. All I knew was that it was for the sake of the child, so they don't be lied to. This is what I was told and taught about, so they know who their real mom and father
Praise the
is.
Lord. Yep.
So those who are adopted, they don't know who their real mother and father is, and that's haram. Poor child. They need to know. This is why adoption is haram. Okay?
Hmm.
So Aisha, her parents were no longer there, couldn't take care of her anymore, and therefore, since adoption was forbidden, Muhammad went and married her halal, but didn't consummate the marriage with her until she was an adult.
Yep. Lie after lie after lie has nothing to do with any of that.
Yeah.
It was given. It was a power marriage. Aisha was given to Muhammad for closeness from. I don't know if it's Omar or Abu Bakr. I don't remember which one of them
Mm-hmm.
gave
Yeah.
Aisha to Muhammad because they wanted to
Yeah.
get too close to the warlord, to the
Mm-hmm.
king. So
Yeah.
that's the only reason. And he was a pervert. Therefore, first of all, when she was 6 years old, she was sick. She was
Mm-hmm.
Aisha was ill.
Yeah.
If that wasn't the case, he would have consummated the marriage with her.
Mm-hmm.
Anyway,
Before they got married, her mother would stuff her with food to make her fat, to make
yes,
her look healthier,
yeah,
but her hair was falling out.
unfortunately, yeah. And then we also hit on the point of we talked about Islam peace. Where's that come from?
Yeah,
Um,
that
I
is that
actually
sense.
have I teach on that, believe it or not, because I
Mm-hmm.
studied the two houses of Islam,
Mm.
Dar al Harb, Dar al Islam. As long as Islam doesn't have dominion over an area, it is Dar al Harb. When
Yeah.
it's Dar means the house for people maybe do not speak Arabic. I don't, but I can. We all can learn.
Mm-hmm.
Dar al Harb means the house of war, meaning you fight in order to that for that place. Now goes under Islam, then it becomes Dar al Islam, means the people that you fought now they are surrendered to you. Then there is peace. That's the literal
Yeah.
mentality of Islam or Muslims toward the world. As long as Islam does not dominate an area or controls an area, it's Dar al Harb.
Yeah.
America is Dar al Harb.
Mm-hmm.
Iran is
Yes.
not a Dar al Harb. Iran is a Dar al Islam now because
Mm-hmm.
Islam dominates and there is peace. Even though there is no peace
There is
in
no
all of
peace.
Iran, there is absolutely none. But as long as you surrendered, then there is peace according to their mind, their understanding of the
Yeah.
word peace. Doesn't mean that we can coexist and live together and sing kumbaya around fire while we're doing marshmallow. That
Mm-hmm.
is not the translation of peace in Islam.
Yeah. But in my 12-year-old mind, I thought
Yep,
that kind of stuff about Aisha was the kindness of Islam that would bring peace, that brings peace. Okay? I
yep.
was 12, guys. I have to keep saying it. But
So let me circle back because 9/11 became a real turning point,
Mm.
and there was things happens that you had to decide what side are we on, and then this is start questioning the whole idea of Islam and everything else. So what happened? What's next? What's the next important thing?
The next, so then that questioning has been gone, and I am Muslim, and I'm believing Islam is this religion of peace and all that stuff. So I live my life on, right? I do remember later on, I used to take my son at the time, he was like 2, 3 years old. He was a baby. I used to be bored. I was stay at home mom, so I used to be bored. I have nothing else to do, so I would go and I would visit churches. I wanted to know why Christians believed what they believed. I think this is something, that's why I look back. I was like, wait, God has been drawing me near for a long time, and I wasn't paying attention. Um, Unfortunately, I didn't hear the gospel. I went to quite a few churches, and I didn't hear the gospel from none of them. Um, and then I ended up stopping going there because I ended up feeling safer. Because mind you, I'm living in a house with Muslims, and even though my intention wasn't to leave Islam, I just want to know what Christians believed. It would have caused a problem. So I'm like, this is a waste of time. Haven't figured out anything. They're looking for more money to go buy a parking lot. That's like the thing. That's it. So I just stopped. A few years elapsed, and I leave New York and I move. And after I move from there, I the thought of visiting churches and whatever left until when I marry my ex-husband, and I move next to a church. And this has been a few years, and I remember me walking. I remember I was walking from CVS home, and on the way from CVS home, there's a church. Okay? And I'm like, it'll be really funny if I just go back to my habit of visiting churches. And then I was like, nah, forget it. I ain't got time for that. And then I go home. That's when now that little while, and then the election happened, and then I get into my fact checking era that I speak about in the last stream. Um that I well, I need a fact check, 'cause now I'm like, what else is being lied about to me? And then by the Holy Spirit, period, because I can't come up with this stuff. He asks, like, I get the feeling that, oh, I need to go compare Jesus according to the Bible and the Quran, because during that time I'm having a bad spiritual struggle. 2016, ISIS is happening. I'm remembering 9/11 because there's been like so many terrorist attacks that's been going on from as far as I could remember till then, and it's all in the name of Islam. And what am I being taught? Islam is a religion of peace. So, okay, God, if Islam is a religion of peace, why is all this happening in the name of Islam? Because this is not making sense. There has,
It might have something to do with Islam. If the
yeah,
guy is shouting Allahu Akbar and cutting someone's neck,
mm-hmm,
if it's
yeah,
if they're
yeah,
attacking an area and it says there is no God but Allah and His messenger is Rasul is Muhammad, maybe it has to do something with Islam itself.
yeah, yeah.
How do
That's the
you?
thought that I had in my head. It's like, is there something in Islam that's causing this? Or like, are they misrepresenting something? Is there something there that's making them do this? And I remember I was like, you know what? I'm done with all Abrahamic religions.
Mhm.
And I joked, I'm a Buddhist now. And then, like seconds later, after I look out the window, I'm like, God exists. Like, this is ridiculous, Sarah. Stop being stupid. And like I was like, and I remember me put my hands up in the air. I guess I'm a Muslim again. And so I sat down because you don't know any other way. All I knew is that God existed. But that fire inside of me also went from that to, oh, now if I die now. Okay. So that was done. And I'm telling you, this was maybe only weeks later. So it's not like late, like months or whatever, only weeks later, I went from questioning Islam and its peacefulness and just going back to it because God exists and that's all that I know, to I now feel like I have a burden of sin on my shoulders, and if I die now, I'm going to Jahannam, and Allah is really angry at me. And I can't pray to Him because I get scared. Because when I do, I feel like there's an actual evil spirit that's going to come jump on me. And I don't feel break because you could like I don't like just to do dua without doing the 5 daily prayers. You do the prayers, and at the end you go do the dua. Like, I can't do that. It's not like in Christianity where I can go approach the throne of grace, and say, God, I screwed up, and He's like, it's okay, child. It I felt God was actually really, really, really angry with me. And I was like, okay, what I'm gonna do first is that I'm gonna go search online and I'm gonna start buying abayas. I'm gonna go see these things. So I'm looking online. And that's when, as I'm looking online, that I put my phone down and I'm like, huh. It was during that time. That's when I go and I end up searching, having that thought of comparing Jesus according to Islam and Christianity. It was during that time, during the time where I felt like I had a burden of sin on my shoulders. And then I ended up comparing them. And I did mention in the last stream about how I already knew that Jesus was Jewish. He was a Jew. Okay? I knew this already. So you don't really teach that in Islam. You don't know that. But I still had that in my mind. And I'm like comparing, but I'm like, this sounds really dark. And it was always, not a Christian yet, not saved, but God still put that discernment in me, saying, this is dark. Why don't you look at this instead? And I'm just looking about how Jesus came. He was born of the tribe of Judah, and just everything just made sense to me. And I'm looking here, I'm like, this is all mumbo jumbo. Like, where are they getting this from? If this is a completion from this, why is this very different than this? And then I don't know. I remember putting that down. I'm like, okay, Christians believe you are God, Jesus. I have no idea what that means, but I guess I'm a Christian now. I had no idea. So that's what that happened. Now, what I did have closed up on my refrigerator, I had somebody give me a like one of those economic cheap Bibles, but it was a pink KJV Bible and it was wrapped in plastic. And it was on my refrigerator for months and months and months. Now picture the grease on the plastic. It was very greasy. I didn't touch that Bible for 3 months. I wouldn't touch it. I was afraid that I was going to be disappointed, like I was going to be disappointed with the Quran. What I did do though is go look up a bunch of ex-Muslims, because at that time I thought I was the only ex-Muslim. I thought I was the only one. I didn't think anybody ever left Islam. I'm now married to a Muslim. I'm scared. I have no idea what's going to happen. You know, all my life, all I wanted was stability. I had previous to that, I had nothing but instability. So I'm like, I'm married now. I have this roof over my head. I'm stable and everything. And all of a sudden, I just feel like everything has just been taken away from me. Just 9 months of stability, earthly stability, just ripped out from under me just because I was like, you know what? I'm a Christian now. Um, so I had that. So now I'm not part of any church. I'm married to a Muslim. I have no idea what's going to happen. I'm stuck. I pray to God. I'm like, I don't know what it is that I need to do. Um then okay. Then I'm watching sermons, still afraid to open up my Bible. I'm afraid of disappointment. Because in a way what I'm hearing on sermons is too good to be true. But then I was lied to from Muslim sheikhs and Muslim people all my life to find out that the internet, I mean, the Quran says something else. And then the Christians that I know now are on the internet. Um, so that happens. Uh, one day, cause my ex-husband, he would come home from work late at night. So he worked at a store, as most Middle Easterners do. They have stores and they work at stores, gas stations. Hey, it's what they do. Um, so I would go and he would sit down with the coffee table, and then I would put his dinner next to him on the table. And I still don't know how to tell him that I'm a Christian. So I'm hiding it. I remember there was a whole Ramadan that skipped and I pretended I was fasting, okay? Because I didn't know what was going on and how I was gonna tell him, and there was a fear. I'm like, oh, now what? Um, I see his phone. Mind you, we're married 9 months, so he just opens up his phone. I see that he was looking at porn. I get mad. I take his phone. I throw it, and then as soon as I throw it, I'm like, wait a minute. He's hiding this from me. This from me. I'm hiding you from him. And that's why all of a sudden I forgot that's what he was watching. I sit with him face to face, like I turn and I face to face, and I tell him this is like about 3 months or so after I like God, I'm a Christian now. I looked at him, I was like, hey, I'm no longer a Muslim. I am now a follower of Christ. That moment, brother, I felt a literal cloud over me that felt so holy. And I had this, what felt like a stupid smile from ear to ear. He was in front of me and I was looking at him as if I'm looking through a cloud. So it was like fog. You ever see like fog? And you see, that's what I was looking at. And his face is tears. And I'm smiling. And then that was going on, and he was like, no, now I'm gonna go to hell. And you know the teaching in Islam about people who leave Islam. Um, but I try I try to be a good Christian now, and I try to share with him the gospel. I remember me telling yeah, I ended up sharing him with him the gospel, um about Jesus and trying to make sense of things, and then he ends up later on texting. I see him texting WhatsApp with his brothers overseas, and he thinks that I can't see what's on his phone, and they're laughing at me. So he was texting his brother all the way that's living in Saudi Arabia, and I see it, what's going on. And oh, by that time I already found out that I'm not the only ex-Muslim. By them I came across first David Wood, and then from David Wood I came across Nabil Qureshi. And then also I heard his testimony where he thought that he was also the only one that ever left Islam. So I'm like, wait, I'm not the only one. I'm not the only one that felt like that. And it was like so validating. And then I come across what how certain verses of like Deuteronomy that they say that it's Muhammad predicted. And then he gives me Zakir Naik videos about how this is about Muhammad. I'm like, no, here, listen to Nabil Qureshi, you know. Oh, this is beautiful. If you listen to the Quran sounds so beautiful sung. But then I put on Coptic Egyptian things where where they're singing in Arabic, uh the Gospel of John, and I'm like, here they're also singing this, and this is beautiful, but this is true and this is wrong. But here's the thing, I stayed married to him for 7 years. He did not have papers. So I'm the one now trying to be a good Christian. I'm trying to follow Peter. What he talks about is like, hey, you can win them without a word. Um, you know, doing that thing right now because that I'm still called to be a Christian and I am still married. Um, I'm praying that God will save the marriage. I'm praying all these things. I push him. We go through with the papers. He gets his green card. Around 2020, he gets a paper coming in the mail saying that now it's time for him to go and get a citizenship and be sworn in. Mind, I got saved 2016. This is 2020. He goes, and then all of a sudden, a couple days after that, he tells me we can't be married anymore. And I'm like, wait, what? Came out of nowhere. We can't be married anymore. Um, we now, I was like, it's because I'm an apostate. We can't be married anymore. And I'm like, just literally came out of the blue. Um, can't force him because guess what Paul also says, though, like you could stay married to them as long as they're willing to stay married to you, but if they don't, let them go in peace, right? I'm brought to peace. So I'm trying to still be obedient with God. Problem is I really have no place to go. Again, I tell you again, security keeps getting taken out from under me, getting pulled out. I'm thinking things are like, whatever. Um, that ends up happening. He, without telling me, he cancels the lease. So before he tells me we can't be married anymore, this was during the time where that's it, the lease is about to be done the following month. And he doesn't tell me that does not. He already told them they're not renewing the lease.
Mhm.
And he ends up going and staying with his friend. I'm stuck now. I'm still living in that house. He goes live
So he
somewhere.
stayed in
Yeah.
this marriage pretty much for the paper.
Yeah.
So as long as he needed you, it didn't matter even you were an apostate.
Yeah.
And then when he was done, he was just done. It said he pretty much got his green card, got his citizenship, and then there was no other paper left. Then he said, Sarah, we can't stay. We can't be married now because you're an apostate. You were an apostate 5 years ago, right? But now you are.
Mm-hmm.
Unbelievable. Wow.
Yeah. But there's more.
Yeah.
He ends up going to stay with his friend for a little while, and then about a month later he comes back, and then me, I'm stuck. I don't know what to do. I have nowhere to go. So it's before now that we have to leave. Okay. He comes and he's like, I tell him, and I have, I don't know, like it was dumb on my side, but then I literally felt like I had no other choice. So I was like, listen, if you change your mind, I wouldn't even bring this up anymore. So he ends up coming back. He changed his mind. So now we have 2 weeks to move because he already said he wasn't gonna change. So he goes and he finds this random apartment now that we gotta move to. And my main thing now is like, okay, now what? So I ended up staying with him until we moved to that apartment. Finally, we found this small little thing because we had no, this is literally all last minute. Um, that summer, he goes to Jordan for a month. His mother is very religious. His father is religious. That was like a whole year later. So we had a year. What I would have to say that I thought with all my heart that this was the best year of marriage that we had. We hardly argued, we hardly anything. Everything was really good. I would pray, I had hope for like his salvation and everything, that God will restore this marriage, and like in my head thinking that the enemy won't win over this and everything. um God had different plans. I could have my plans and my thoughts, but that wasn't in God's plan. He went to Jordan. He stayed there for a month to go visit. And then he comes back, and 3 days after he comes back, he tells me, we're done. We can't stay married anymore. I looked and I was like, last time I said, if you change your mind, I'll take you back. This time it's over. I can't. This is messed up. All right. And then he tells me, I thought that this was all just a phase. He thought my faith in Jesus was just a phase. He had hope that I was going to leave Christianity and come back to Islam. I looked at him, you thought all this was just an
So he
April
was
Fool's
kind of
joke?
using that, like, if you want, if you want me to stay in this marriage, means you denounce Christ.
Yeah. He thought that, he was like, I didn't know you were going to take this Christianity stuff so seriously.
Wow.
So I was like, oh, thank you. Like, for me, hearing that for him, that was actually a compliment. It's like, here's somebody that doesn't know Christ, sees me taking Christ seriously. But he thought this was like a joke, waiting to say, "Ha, just kidding, psych." And I was like, that's not true. But now here's the thing. He ends up going to the lawyer, gets everything behind my back. I signed things out of pride. I'm like, I don't want nothing. I'm done. But again, I'm a stay-at-home mom, stay-at-home wife, stay-at-home everything. I have nowhere to go. It's been a while. Who's gonna hire me? Um, During that time, I remember going to my pastor and I'm like, hey, I have this desire to read more books because something ended up happening. He looks at me, oh, why don't you go to this place over here, you know, for you to study, for you to get your degree and apologetics and this stuff. And I looked at him and I was like, can you just be a little more realistic? Just recommend something to read. Like, where am I gonna get the funds and anything for any of that? Like, you don't see the situation. Like, I'm thinking in my head, I'm like, bro, you don't see the situation I'm in? This is not the time or place. I need a job because I'm still living with my ex-husband. This is not working out. Now, uh I got mad, but there was a period of time where I was actually very mad at him. So whenever I saw him, I lashed out. I lashed out at him whenever I saw him because my pride was hurt. I'm like, hello, it's like all these years, everything that I felt that I've done has been for nothing. Until one day the Lord humbled me. I'm walking home from the gym and I'm stopping by at the gas station. And in front of me, there's this young girl at the gas station. And she's there and she's buying a SpongeBob popsicle ice cream and a little fruit cup. You know those single little fruit cups that they have where you put all the plastic on it? And something else. And the total of it all was $5. So, and I like to keep my earbuds in my ears sometimes because it's still morning-ish. So I take off my earbud because I feel like it was like I was prompted to take out my earbuds because the music this never happens. The music ended up skipping in my ear. So I'm like, so I take it out and I put it away and I hear what's going on and I hear, oh, it's $5 and she's trying to count change. And I stop her and I'm like, no, I got you. Okay? So I go, I take that, I pay for her, we leave. I stop her, I pray for her, and I pray the gospel to her and everything. We hug, we walk. I feel amazing that my God would actually see me fit enough to use me in such a way. I get home that same day, I get home, he's there that same day. I see his face and I start yelling at him. Later on that night, or was it that next day, I ended up getting convicted by God, saying it is way easier for you to show mercy to people that you don't know than it is to show mercy to people that are close to you. Yeah, I created you, you sin against me, yeah, I still died for you. He's like, blessed are those who show mercy, like if so I could show them mercy. And I was like, hold up. My pride had to be thrown out the window, and I couldn't, whenever I saw him be, angry at him, I was still commanded by my God to be merciful and loving. I'm still a Christian no matter what. I'm still representing my God no matter what. It was hard, but I still had to do that. So I did that. I went back to following my Christ. I had to repent because that was still wrong. My kids, especially my daughter, was very close with him, no matter what. And he still promised that he was still going to be around. Okay? So it's been a little less than a year. I get home from church. So he did Uber sometime. So I get home from church that Sunday. I don't see him. It's late. So I call. I was like, hey, what time are you coming? Because now I'm still, like, being respectful. He's still buying stuff. Still trying my best to be a Christian. So I can give you your food. And I'm thinking also kindness. You know what? We're not married anymore. He's still a soul that needs to be saved. Right? He goes, oh, I'm working. Like, whatever, I'll be there soon. A little while later, he sends me a text message. And he says to me, oh, I couldn't tell you face to face, but I'm in the airport going to Colorado. I'm like, wait, what? You're gonna leave? Like, you're not even gonna say bye. It's like, forget about me. Like, I'm thinking about my kids right now. You can't just get up on leave. Where, like, especially my daughter at the time is like, that was her father figure. Like, you're just gonna get up and leave them like that? And then that was it. And the main, 3 months, I skipped over this first. This is actually a big part that everything ended up switching over. About 3 months after we got divorced and I signed the papers, he came up to me and sat down. He's like, how would you feel like to get remarried? I looked at him, I was like, what? I didn't answer him. I'm scared because he became unstable. So I can't say straight out no. So I said no without saying no. So he was like, oh, because you talk about how we go do our katbiktab, which is like when you go to the mosque and the sheikh goes and he marries you off. And I looked at him, I was like, katbiktab. I'm like, I'm not Muslim, I'm Christian. He was like, oh yeah, you're right. I'm sorry, I don't know why I said that. And then I remember me sitting down a little while later, literally sitting down, because now I signed up for my school, and I have to go through the video for orientation on my phone. I'm getting all that and I'm looking at it. So that happened and then this happened, and I sit down and I put my phone and I just feel so much discouragement. And I'm like, what's the point of doing all this? Like, God, I'm like, I don't even see you moving at all. Is any of this worth it? And then the thought that came to my mind was, but you're the truth, God. Jesus, like, Christianity is the truth, your truth. Where else am I supposed to go? And then I remembered, I was like, wait a minute, this sounds familiar. This is why when you look at my bio on Twitter, I have the verse in John 6 where Jesus asks the disciples, after people leave, and Jesus goes and asks them, "Oh, are you going to leave too?" And the disciples go, "Where else are we supposed to go? You have the words of life." And from there, my life got, everything ended up falling into place without me realizing everything was falling into place. Because one of my fears that I had was, how is this unstable man going to feel when I tell him I'm going to leave and move and go and move on campus and then we're done? Instead, what God did was take him out. Because I didn't even know he was going to let me take my kids' beds with me. I'm like, I have nothing. Instead, what God did at that time was remove him. So not only did I even have my kids' beds, I had the furniture. Like, God provided all. You're worried about this, I'm going to provide all of this. He provided. So I look back and I'm like, stability. Like, again, I'm thinking in my head, stability. Sarah, you're looking like this all goes there. I come from complete chaos and dysfunction and everything. And I'm always looking for stability. It's like God didn't just save me from Islam, God saved me from a whole lot of stuff. And here is me providing for you in all the ways. And then he still tried to stay in contact with me. I ended up having to cut all, because he was very controlling. So I had to force myself to completely be cut off. So praise God, I was able to be cut off from him. Um, there was a lot of stuff that I'm looking back now as a Christian. Like, if I wasn't a Christian, I wouldn't have been able to this. If it wasn't for God Himself, I wouldn't have been able to say no. I wouldn't have been able to stay in the faith. I wouldn't have been able to, like, do any of the stuff that I'm doing right now. Like, I disobeyed God so much in that marriage just to keep the peace. Just to keep the peace. God has put so much in my heart just to keep the peace. I kept my story, my testimony away for years just to keep the peace in the marriage, thinking I was obeying God in that. But in reality, I'm obeying Satan. It looks like I'm trying to obey God in the and how it looks like in the rules of looking like, oh, I'm submitting to my husband. But that's not the case. So I'm looking, I'm like my YouTube channel, that was me obeying God. I have no idea what I'm doing. I'm not this big. I have a very humble YouTube channel. I'm like, here it is. That me here right now talking to you, sharing my testimony is me obeying God. Like, I wouldn't have been able to do any of that stuff. I'm keeping it for
Slowly,
myself.
no matter when you get saved or how you get saved, when you start obeying God, like there's a difference between um, a believer or a Christian than a disciple. Disciple is somebody that says, God, I have no plans, purposes, goals. I have none of that. I don't have strategies or a ladder or some goals that I want to get to. Whatever it is, I'm going to put it down. You are the boss. I am the servant. I'm the worker. I'm the laborer. I'm the follower. I'm the disciple, whatever you want to call it. You are the boss. You make the calls. I just obey. When you start doing that, look how Jesus puts it,
Mhm.
how beautifully he puts it in his word for us. When you start losing your life for my sake, for Jesus' sake, he said you actually find it.
Mhm. Yeah, that's what it is.
You are God or God is God. When you
Mm-hmm.
want to do your plans, your goals, I'm going to write to God this long list and then tell him, now it's your time to bless it. You're actually God. But
Yeah.
when you sign up that piece of paper, blank, white, you just sign it and say, God, whatever you have for me, whenever you have it for me, wherever you have it for me, I'm here to obey. You're actually setting yourself free by doing that. People think obedience to God, it's obedience to Allah that is going to destroy your life, control, manipulate, put fear and condemnation, use guilt over you, and constantly destroy your. No, Jesus said, "My yoke is easy and my burden is light." And if you come to me, that's Matthew chapter 11, 28, 29, and 30. If you come to me, you will find rest. And the more you started separating from that lifestyle that you were stuck in and surrendering to Jesus, the more actually you freer you become. And now, praise the Lord, you're sharing your story, what God has done for you, and it's awesome. Thank God for Jesus and salvation. Without resurrection, sister, there is no hope.
There is no
If
hope.
Jesus was not resurrected, you and I, like Muslims, we would have been entrapped, crying, weeping, holding to a shrine, hoping that this dead person that we know is dead have no answer. That would do something for us. But when the resurrection happened, that gives, if you have any logic or you don't, that gives you hope because he's resurrected. The scariest thing is death, and he has defeated it. What man can do
Mm-hmm.
to us? So
Yeah.
I just want to know. Um, I found you on Twitter, so tell us what you do on Twitter, and then you have a YouTube channel,
Yes.
and tell us if the people want to go to on your YouTube channel, what do they expect, and what kind of activities as a Christian you have on those channels.
Um. I do have a Twitter or X account. You'll find like you put like Sarah and then the letter H and then you'll find apostate. The handle's apostate of Allah. Same thing. Um. And I'm trying to be active in that. I'm like as I see the importance of social media, so I'm trying to balance life and work and study and all these things and social media. And I have my YouTube channel. What you'll find, I have it's Islam, about things about Islam. So it's you'll find a lot of Islamic theology in it. You'll find some stuff that's going on in the world and current events, and I'm connecting it to Islam, and then showing like there is a way better thing, the way better lifestyle than it is to be in Islam and stuff that's
God knows.
leading to this like these things. And I do have some some videos where I do like like satire where I play a character called Ahmed. Um so like I have like that is like but it's supposed to like convey a like a message just to show see this is ridiculous,
Hmm.
and it's actually based on a woman, a famous Egyptian woman, old woman that will go in and start talking, and she's been like went to Al Azhar mosque. Like if you ever seen her video, she used to talk about how about sex slavery and that's okay and all that. That's based on her. So the
Mhm.
ridiculousness is like this is stuff, and it's not
So
just
she's
stuff
an
that I've
actual person then,
yeah, and
and
I
then you
have it
play her.
yeah, and I've not made up the stuff that I've said. The things that I say in those satirical videos, it's stuff that I've heard in
Wow,
real life,
wow.
listening to Islamic sermons through her. Like, this is not stuff that I've made up on my own. And I'm conveying it in a satirical message to see, like, this is not. Come on, guys, wake up. Yeah.
Yeah. What's the name of your YouTube channel?
Apostate of Allah.
Apostate of Allah.
Yes.
We have the AP, the Apostate Prophet. We have the
Mm.
Apostate of. Who else is out there doing this? It's fun.
I don't know, but apostate of Allah, I have a friend. I didn't know what I was gonna name myself, and he was like, he may be here in the chat. Nem2 Jeezy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He was like, "How about the?" He's like, "My little bro. We have this little community called the Octagon, and yeah, like, my first online like Christian friends that I would had then, that actually outside of church is what kept me sane, because that the only Christians I knew outside of church were the ones that I saw on Sunday, and I didn't see any other Christians
Mm-hmm.
then. Um, he was like, "What about apostate of Allah?" And I'm like,
That's a good idea.
yeah, but the only reason why I agree to it is because what does Allah say? He guides whom He wills.
Mm-hmm.
And He, like,
Mislead,
he misleads who He wills. I'm like,
misguide.
apparently, Allah chose to mislead me and make me an apostate, so I am His apostate.
Yep.
And then Muslims can't say my name. This is something that I've noticed, that they can't say apostate of Allah, or they can't make fun of my name like how they make fun of apostate prophet.
Yep.
So that's a win-win situation there.
I think your work is very important. We are, sister, in a time and an age that lots of Muslims separated from their families, separated from the peer pressure, separated from the Islamic ummah, excuse me, Islamic ummah, on in the privacy of the screen of their phone, they're looking up information. They have doubts, they have questions. You know there is something as a Muslim. You know there is something is wrong with Islam. You just know,
Hmm.
but you don't know where to go. When you look at to the imam, or you ask your grandma, or the father, whoever is the person of faith in your family, person of religion in your family, you try to go to them and ask them. You will never get a correct answer because they don't know either. It's amazing. Like you ask them, for example, the most basic questions of Islam. Like, uh, I give you one. Where, mom, I'm Persian. We're Persian. We speak Farsi. Can't we speak to God in Farsi? Oh, you don't ask question. Islam is taslim. You surrender. You ask.
Hmm.
You're like, what? This is one, the God that only speaks one language? Yes. Don't ask question. I can give you thousands of things like that. Like, for example, you have did your wuzu, you have done your ablution, you wash yourself, you're walking to prayer and all that, and then I don't know, a dog crosses or whatever, and now you have to go redo the whole thing. I mean, what kind of a God is this, or what kind of a religion is this, that another creation will cancel out another creation's prayer?
Yeah.
I can go through so many of these things, but you don't have answer. The bottom line of what I'm sharing is, as a Muslim, you know there is something wrong. You can't get answers from somebody like, what is it, Hijab, the guy's name. Look at the guy's name, Hijab. This
Yeah.
guy is going to be only defending and says right on the camera, for example, pedophilia is totally fine.
Yeah.
Multiple, as a man, having multiple wives is okay, but as a woman, having multiple husbands is not okay. You're like, oh, there's something is wrong. So you go into these people, you will never get answers. But now, because of the privacy of their phones, and there's no peer pressure, or somebody's watching them, like constantly being nosy, sticking their nose and controlling them. Because of the phones, they go through something here and find a poster of Allah is talking about Islam,
Hmm.
another Egyptian, another Arab Muslim converted or left Islam. So they look up those information, they go check it, and that's where the avalanche or the exodus or the tsunami, God knows, of the ex-Muslims are coming from. It's
Yeah.
amazing what is happening.
Hmm.
So your work is important. Please keep doing it, making videos, sending them out, put the sources out there. David Wood is the frontier of this. Nabil, brother Nabil, which is now in the presence of a holy God. What is he minding now? Enjoying his life there, his eternal life with Christ. Imagine. But they have shown us the way, and Sam Shamoun, there's so many. AP, you,
Hmm.
there's so many of them. God knows. I came to faith in the Lord Jesus Christ in 2006.
Hmm.
There was no fact checking resources that you had
Yeah.
access to. It was no
Mm-hmm.
internet. We had the Quran and the verses of the Quran and the translation in Farsi, and then it became the funniest comic book after I left Islam. We could read. I mean, you go through, for example, Surah Al Ahzab. I believe it's 33, if I'm not mistaken. Surah Al Ahzab, verse 33. It says, Muhammad, you can have your cousins, any woman that gives itself to you, and then it goes says anybody that travels with you. Oh, you can have all these women with you. You can have them,
Yeah.
married, unmarried, and then it says because it's Allah is so merciful.
Yeah.
We were reading those stuff in Farsi and in our mother tongues, and then we will fall on the floor laughing. This was a religion. This is a God. Anybody could come up with something as weird and as wicked and as lustful as this. I mean,
Yeah.
this was the Playboy magazine of 14 centuries ago. God knows that you can have this, you can have that, whoever you desire, you can have it, and Allah is merciful to you, but not to the ummah, but only to you, Muhammad. You're like,
Mm-hmm.
man, what
But
in
I
the
was
world is this?
amazed at that though, because we were taught, like, listening was like Allah gave everything to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam because he loved him so much, and this, that, and we were like so amazed about the greatness because we hear like, a story that I kept hearing over and over and over again about him was how there was this he every morning he would wake up in the morning, look outside, and there was a pile of poop in front of his door. And he would go and pick it up. And this Jew, every morning, would put the pile of poop on his door, in front of his door, and every morning he'll wake up and clean it. You know, until one day, Muhammad, innocent Muhammad, went and opened the door and didn't find the poop in front of his door that morning. And then went around the village and asking, "Oh, what happened to this Yehudi or whatever? Like, what happened to him?" And they're like, "Oh," and then he's at home on his deathbed. So he went to go visit the Yehudi, the Jew that will always put poop in front of his door to go. And from there, he showed him love and care and guided him to Islam. That was the Muhammad that we grew up with.
Wow, wow, it's so deep, huh? This religion
Yes,
is so.
Muhammad, the story of the poop.
Here, golly, man. So here I actually found the verse. It's Surah Al Ahzab, verse 50. I'll post it here that our beautiful people can see it, that we don't make these things up. This is um, Quran.com. This is Muslim resources. Can you see it, sister? Everybody can see it?
No.
You can't. Okay, then we need to do this. Oops, no, not that one. Let me look. It says it's the. Oh, duh. Here we go. It's you have to add to the scene right here. Now it's added. So here it says, this is now shared right in front of you, two different translations. It says, "O Prophet, indeed, we have made lawful to you your wives to whom you have given their due compensation." So if if you're your wives, why would you pay them? Because they're
Mm,
prostitutes. Okay. Um, and those your right hand possesses from what Allah has returned it to you of captives talking. If so, whoever you capture, they're your captives and they're halal, they're good for you. And then it says, and the daughters of your parental uncles and the daughter of your parental aunts, talking about different cousins from aunts, uncles, father side, mother side, maternal, who immigrated with you. And so if this wasn't enough already, if this wasn't enough, we got more.
mm,
Who immigrated with you, and a believing woman, if she gives herself to the prophet, if the prophet wishes to marry, uses the word nikah, not marriage, is talking about
mm,
sex, to marry her, this is only for you, excluding the other believers. Man, So deep, huh? We certainly know what we have made obligatory upon them concerning their wives and those their right hand possesses. But this is for you, in order that there will be upon you no discomfort. Sarah, sister, can you see how wonderful Allah is toward His beautiful seal of the Prophet?
Yes.
No discomfort.
No
You
discomfort.
be a womanizer, have all the women, no discomfort, because Allah is so wonderful. And then
Yeah.
it says, and it's amazing. God is my, it's amazing. And 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 ever is Allah forgiving and merciful for providing all these women to you, only to you, Muhammad. This
Hmm.
this is totally divine. Do you see that, how complicated and mysterious and divine it is?
Yeah.
This cannot happen from the stomach of a lustful man. It is just Allah, so wonderful, giving all the women to His own
Yeah. It's
prophets.
just, yeah. The
I mean, you can make these things up.
I mean, like, you could find prophets in the Old Testament. Can you find any prophets in the Old Testament where God was like, "Hey, here are all the comforts of the world"? Jeremiah is called the weeping prophet. We have we have Elijah and Elisha and Moses that was like, what's going on here? He had to leave his comforts, after being raised in Egyptian royalty.
You can, I am telling you, this magazine, if Playboy magazine was produced 14 centuries ago, this is it.
Yeah, but this
There
is
would
why
be no
also
difference.
Muslims view women the way they are, because this man, this Muhammad, is the perfect, example for all mankind. So how did Muhammad treat women? So while they can't have more than four wives, they can have sex slaves.
Yeah,
They can
right
have
there in front
muta
of you,
wives.
concubines. Yeah,
Yeah,
whoever
you
your right hand possesses.
yeah, and the money is like women, like the money that
Compensate.
women are given. I mean, they are basically prostitutes. In Islam, oh, women have rights in Islam. The only rights a woman has in Islam is a roof over her head, clothes to put on her body, and food to eat. That's it.
Yeah.
Because they're animals. You can't
The
have a baby
properties,
making
absolutely
machine
properties. Yeah.
outside these things.
Yeah. I can, since the Quran is open, I can go to beautiful chapter 4, Surah Al Nisa. It's everything about, uh, it's everything against women instead of
Hmm.
the chapter for women.
And
That
the
if you
irony,
fear
right?
obedience, you can beat them up. If
Mm-hmm.
you, it's
Yeah.
anyway. So praise the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Thank God for Jesus. Thank
Yes.
God for salvation, sister. Thank God that
Praise God.
God has rescued you out of this diabolic religion. God
Mm-hmm.
knows how weird and dark and diabolic Islam is. It's unbelievable. When you come
Yes.
out of it, when you break through with the power of the resurrection of Christ, when you break out, you just only understand.
Yeah.
Man, this was a religion. It was nothing but a religion. There has nothing to do with God. Has
Mm-hmm.
nothing to do with God. Has
Yes.
nothing
Yeah.
to do with relationship with others. There is never mention of forgiveness. There is never mention of love your neighbors, love your enemies. None of that exists in Islam. You're
Yeah.
just constantly like a obsession with, am I halal, am I haram, am I najis, am I clean,
Yeah.
am I, constantly in bondage of freaking out about every little things, because Allah will burn you, pull your hair and burn you,
Yeah.
and
That's what my
give you
grandmother used to tell me as a kid. My grandmother, when I was a small kid and I would sit down and it didn't sink in, so I was like, oh, when I grow up, I'm definitely gonna wear the hijab. It's like, oh, when you get older, you have to wear the hijab, because when you don't wear the hijab, what ends up happening is when you die, because there's this doctrine of the punishment of the grave. So that's before the Islamic resurrection. So in the grave, there's actually people screaming and there's a punishment that the angels will go and pull you by the hair. And then when you go to hell, um, what ends up happening, I'm like, imagine you being a child, and a lot of Muslims that
hearing
you
this
know,
beautiful stories. Yeah,
yeah, being told you go to hell, what ends up happening, you get thrown into the fire, you get burnt worse than a fried chicken, she would tell me. All right, and then they take you out of hell, and then you come back to normal. You get dipped back into hell, and you get so scared of hell that even amongst other Muslim kids, you tell them you can't go this, or you're gonna go to the hellfire. You don't do that. Oh, you're gonna do that. You're gonna go to the hellfire. If that's the mentality you have,
That's the
like,
control.
mm-hmm, yeah,
Fear is the controlling factor in Islam.
mm-hmm,
The guilt and the condemnation is another one. You're
yeah,
constantly freaking out. I mean, to the
yeah,
point that you obsess. You can't sleep. You can't, because you constantly have been brainwashed, programmed
mm-hmm,
that this is what happens to you after death.
yeah,
The Sarat
mm-hmm.
bridge and this and that. It's unbelievable. Thank God for Jesus and the freedom that we have. So,
Praise
sister, we
God.
have been on the air for another an hour, 10 minutes. We did another
Mm-hmm.
hour yesterday. So
Yeah,
somehow we need to
I
kind of wrap
talk a
this
lot.
up.
I'm sorry. I'm a chatty Cathy.
So, so you talk about those stuff on your YouTube, and folks, if you want to support my sister, the her channel is in the description. You can just click there and go and subscribe to her channel and support her work. And do you produce anything in Arabic or all in English?
All in English, I don't feed the whole narrative you have to know Arabic. Because the majority of Muslims, guess what? They're not Arabs and they don't speak Arabic.
13% of Muslim world is
Yeah,
Arab
yeah.
speaking. 87% does not speak Arabic, so they do not understand even their simple prayers that
Mm-hmm.
they memorize and repeat. I was one of them. But thank God for Jesus. Now I speak
Mm-hmm.
with Jesus. I have a communion with him, fellowship,
Yes.
talk to him in English, Farsi, whatever language. He used
Mm-hmm.
to understand all of them. He has created
Yeah.
it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
he's
exactly.
not afraid of one or the other one or this language or that language. It's not.
Mm-hmm.
God is a God of all nations.
Mm-hmm.
He has
That's
created them all.
facts.
So
Mm-hmm.
awesome. Thank you so much. Do you have any final thoughts that, or we should close this hour?
No, I thank you for having me on again, I
You can come back
appreciate it.
again. Um,
And that's all.
Awesome. Folks, you heard it once again. Another story of forsaking my father's religion. Make sure if you haven't subscribed, make sure you're subscribed. And if you want to get this stream or this program out, please share it. And I always love to know where you're watching. I saw people today, right now. We had people from Bangladesh, Germany, Canada, one of the countries I'd never heard of it. They said it's in Africa or someplace. Memimba. Anyway, we have people watch from all over the world. So write to me where you're watching. We love you. We appreciate you, and God loves you.